Hey yo guys, I'm back here to give you a video. Just as, there's been a whole bunch of news that's been popping up around the worlds of, combat sports, either it's professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, or boxing. I've just felt I had to get my thoughts on some of the stuff. A lot of news has been going on in professional wrestling, especially, with the two big mainstream companies, with Petey, TNA releasing a lot of people. So far they've only released 3. There are more expected to come. So TNA so far has released Petey Williams, Maple Leaf Muscle, and the Rock and Rave Infection. To me, the Petey one's is the most shocking. I mean, I honestly can't believe they got rid of Petey Williams. But to an extent, I can see where they're. The Rock Rave Infection were, kind of no-brainers, as they hadn't been used in TNA in quite some time. Once Lance Rock, or Lance Hoyt, or whatever you want to say, got released, you just knew Jimmy Rave would be gone. They really never really did much, never got much TV time, so, with the economy and all, and TNA having, a lot of people now on their roster, that they do need to make a purge of the roster a bit, so they're probably some agents as well. I would expect maybe I would say Savio Vega to be released, just because he's got so much IWA Puerto Rico stuff to do. But then again, TNA has announced that they're going to have a house show in Puerto Rico, and I think Savio is the key to that, so I don't think Savio will be gone there. BG James won't be one of the people gone, but I don't know, I don't really want to speculate on who's gone, especially because it's not fun to see people get fired. It's fun, to an extent that, Petey now gets to be freed from the insanity of the booking that has gone on in the realm of TNA. I mean, good God. It's good to see Petey. Petey will now be able to use to his full potential on the independents. Definitely he'll be making Border City Wrestling appearances. I would expect, some Canadian shows, like, maybe mainly BSE. But to me, I think, the main places for him to work are PWG and Ring of Honor. I think those are the obvious ones. Mexico and Japan would be kind of iffy. Mexico is normally a big gig for, guys that just get released. Just look at Chuck Palumbo and Johnny the Bull Stamboli as Relic, who, Relic, aka Johnny the Bull Stamboli, had a stint going on in AAA, but he, was very bitter about the whole situation. But I believe Chuck Palumbo's still working in Puerto Rico with, I think it's AAA as well, so we'll see how things go from there. But I don't think PD will go, as, there's not enough stability, with the economy, especially how it's really affected the Mexican peso. Japan, I don't know as well, because Japan's economy got hit harder, more so than here in North America, so I don't know about that. But I think PD's clearly going to be, a Ring of Honor, PWG, Canadian independent type guy. Lance Rock, or Sass Lance Hoyt's the only guy so far that I see the WWE having a look at, as, he's a tall, agile guy who did get over in TNA, but, due to the fact that, there was a lack of him being used, he lost his overness. I think the WWE can market him well as, a bodyguard type guy, which I think TNA marketed him well when, he was there as Dallas bodyguard for Kid Cash. I thought he worked out very well in that position. I think he can do the same thing in WWE. I think WWE loves a big agile man. I mean, they've had so many in their past, and they would know what to do more with him, more so than TNA. Jimmy Rave, I think, is clearly going to go back to the independents. There's a lot of been rumors, and especially if you've seen in the Ring of Honor message boards, please for Jimmy Rave to come back. Reform the embassy. I don't know if I want that, as Ring of Honor's trying to go in a new direction. I don't think they want to go with something from the past, especially since they're getting on TV, they're getting new fans. I don't think they want to bring up stuff from the past and whatnot, but you could see them potentially doing it to whore DVD sales out on their TV show. But anyways, that's most of my thoughts there. Sucks that these guys are out of a job, but I mean, I think at least 2 of the 3 will find jobs. They'll find jobs pretty well, especially now that they had some TV exposure. But I think Lance Hoyt's the only one who will make C get signed by the WWE. Speaking of the WWE, I felt I had to make mention of this, and that would be the fact that Christian Cage showed up on ECW this past Tuesday, the live edition of ECW. Is why a lot of people were saying, well, how come this didn't get leaked beforehand? Well, the show was live, as ECW is sometime before they tape SmackDown after that. After that show, after ECW, I should say. And to me, my thoughts are, a lot of people are bitching, oh, he's on ECW, why the fuck should we care? I mean, why wouldn't you put him on, SmackDown? I think SmackDown would have been a better fit, especially for his return, because you have a top-notch announcer in Jim Ross, who would have been like, oh my god, what? We haven't seen this man in years, instead of Todd Grisham, who was just like, it's Grisham. Like, you just saw him in the hallway, like, you're in high school. So, that's just my thoughts about that aspect. But to me, him, showing up on ECW, he actually will add, some intrigue to the show. He should boost numbers, ratings-wise. And, he gets a big program with Jack Swagger, which, that is a huge thing for Jack Swagger, that they threw him the bone to feud with the returning Christian, who, this got tons of play all over the internet as, how us people and people all over the internet talk about it. But, I mean, that's just a big deal for Jack Swagger to work with this guy. So, I said in I believe my Rumble prediction video that Jack Swagger is going to be someone getting a title shot, a big title shot, probably in the next 5 years. Well, you can tell that they have those plans in mind. But as Christian on the show, I mean, WCW has no real star power. The show had started to, drone, in my opinion. They have a real good star who can, help get other talent over, just on his mic work as well. And, in the ring, it can help make everyone else look good. But this show, this edition of ECW also had a debut of another talent who I think a lot of people are missing the boat on, and that would be TJ Wilson and Natalia coming over to ECW as well. Anyways, TJ Wilson, for those of you who do not know about TJ Wilson is awesome. Let me just tell you right now, TJ Wilson is awesome. The original plan for TJ Wilson to come into the WWE, as he'd been under developmental forever. I believe he was with them, when Ohio Valley was the territory as well. Before the FCW shift, he'd been working at FCW since the formation of FCW as the true WWE development territory. Anyways, TJ is just an excellent worker. And, him and the chemistry between him and his real-life girlfriend Natalia should be awesome. For those of you who haven't seen TJ versus, D.H. Smith, TJ is just, I've seen a lot of his stuff from, Stampede. He's just excellent. Just, what more can you say? And I think clearly they're going to build to a mini feud with Jamie Noble and TJ Wilson as TJ Kidd now, but still, I think, that should be some excellent in-ring work as well. Clearly, I think the program that they're going to build for that more so would be Evan Bourne versus TJ Wilson. That should be some excellent stuff right there. TJ really didn't get the chance to show you what he's all made of, due to the fact that, he was in a squash match, and, that show was more about Christian, so they really didn't want to overhype anything of that nature. I probably wouldn't have maybe someone in the wake of Christian debuting, but still, TJ Wilson, star in the making. Sorry, I lost track. One of the plans for him was to come back in with Natalia and D.H. Smith as to form the Hart Foundation again after, Teddy Hart got, fired from the company, and that whole debacle fell through. So they were going to bring those guys to be the Hart Foundation on SmackDown, but D.H. Smith politicked and, a lot of heat from this, doing this by, a lot of the boys in the back, politicked himself to go over to Raw and be part of the Legacy, and, that was apparently supposed to be a go, but, that was back in, the mid-January, and we still haven't seen D.H. Smith on television yet, but we already got, TJ Wilson and Natalia ahead of him, so show, I guess, really what they thought about that. So those are some of my thoughts there. Going over to the realm of MMA, I guess they can make mention, the StrikeForce debut show on Showtime is shaping up. We already knew about the Scott Smith-Benji Radek fight, which seems like a really good fight. That's going to be a stand-up war. I think whoever, will connect with the solid punch, because both guys have hands of steel, especially Scott Smith, who we all know his nickname is Hands of Steel, no pun intended. And Benji Radek has just amazing power in his hands. So that's going to be an interesting fight on the stand-up portion. On the ground, I would clearly give the edge to Radek, but I'll not go too prediction into this, as I'll save that for when the show comes up around April the 11th. But yeah, I mean, we got the main event officially announced. It's Frank Shamrock versus Nick Diaz. A fight that should be really interesting. I mean, it's going to be fought at a catch weight of 179 pounds. And to me, a lot of people are like, why would you have, a middleweight versus a lightweight? To me, this is a smart thing. I mean, you have Frank Shamrock, if the show was in San Jose, Frank Shamrock, you know, is going to draw so many people in from San Jose. He's going to draw probably about 5,000 to 8,000 people alone on him. His ability to, you know, be entertaining. He can talk as well to draw people in. Much like professional wrestling, that's a bit of a key component that a lot of people are forgetting. Frank can do that. You know, Frank doesn't be the, you know, amazing #1 middleweight in the world. I mean, he's already done that, you know, from his time in the original days of the UFC, when it started to get, you know, less about the brawls type deal, Keith Hackney, bare knuckle type deal stuff, and the Pancrase promotion in Japan. But still, you know, he's still a good fighter. I mean, he's very entertaining, and he makes his fights interesting, which is a key point. I mean, if you haven't seen the Kung Lee versus Frank fight, well, I mean, what the hell have you been missing? But still, Diaz as well is a good talker, and he's going to draw, you know, a lot of people from, you know, the surrounding California area, since I can't remember exactly where he's from in California. They're in California. His family is located in California as well, so he should draw about 2,000 to 3,000 from, you know, I believe from his surrounding area, and I'm so sorry I can't remember California. So this show, you know, should do very well, you know, in the building wise, due to the fact that Frank's such a draw, and you have Nick, who can, you know, is entertaining enough, and, you know, can get people from the Stockton, California area. That's what it is, Stockton, California area, that can come in. So it's gonna be a good event at the building and on the television. You know, it's gonna look good through TV, which, you know, a lot of these shows sometimes don't when they're apparently very hot in the building. The Affliction Day of Reckoning show was like, you know, a really strong hot crowd, but it didn't pan as well through on television or on pay-per-view, what have you, as well as you would have thought. So that's just my thoughts about that. You know, I'm really excited about this thing with StrikeForce, as you saw in my, you know, video when I announced that this guy had come. I'm, you know, just excited for, you know, the fact that there's going to be someone else to watch other than, you know, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. And, you know, we also got, you know, the other promotion coming up soon in Bellator Fighting Championships. I know that's going to be on ESPN Deportes, but still, I think that's a big step that, you know, a mixed martial art promotion is on, you know, a big-time network, you know, name of ESPN. Yeah, it's a Spanish version of ESPN, but still, that to me is a big deal. And finally, just to wrap things up quickly, I wanted to make mention on my thoughts about the whole Antonio Margarito hand wrap incident. For those of you who don't know, during the pre-fight whole deal with Antonio Margarito versus Sugar Shane Mosley that took place on January 24th from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California, you know, when they were wrapping Margarito's hands, Sugar Shane's trainer, Nazim Richardson, noticed that there was something eerie in Margarito's hand wraps. The California State Athletic Commission investigated, found there was some sort of thing that, you know, was going to harden. They had to rewrap his hands, what have you. That was a big deal. You know, he lost the fight. So, you know, the California State Athletic Commission then went to a thorough investigation, and the end result is that Margarito and his trainer are banned for at least 1 year in the state of California, aka the United States of America, as a lot of people in boxing, you know, a lot of the states that, you know, where boxing is regularized, take California's opinion as, you know, fact and truth, and, you know, take it very seriously. So it doesn't look like there's going to be, you know, a rematch between Cotto and Margarito, which, you know, a lot of people are talking about. But this just goes to bring into question, you know, cheating in boxing or cheating in other sports isn't as bad. I mean, let's just face it. Taking steroids in baseball, you're just going to hit home runs. You know, you're going to maybe hurt your, you know, image, you know, in the record books, but you're not going to do any bodily harm to other people except yourself. NASCAR or stock car racing, you know, you tweak your engine or something, your car goes a little faster, you cheat, you win, maybe win some races you shouldn't have. You know, the only bodily damage or harm you're really going to cause is to yourself. But in boxing, when you're doing something with putting stuff in your hand wraps where you're really out there to hurt someone else permanently, like their potential to killing someone with that is just huge. I mean, you know, you can die from, you know, any of these combat sports like mixed martial arts, boxing, with, you know, proper wrapping. And, you know, Margarito's and his team want to take the risk of doing that. That's just not cool in my opinion at all. Margarito's trainer then said that, it was an accident. How can it be an accident to put the wrong type of padding in your gloves? I mean, that's just insanity that they want to say that. I don't think anyone on the face of God's green earth believes that that was an accident at all. And then, that just take into question, how, Margarito's accomplishments, really. I mean, the Kermit Centron fight where he used so much, a lot of power punches to beat him. I mean, that goes into question, especially the Cotto fight where, Cotto's face was just so rearranged in a bloody mess. I mean, that's just going to go into question, like, well, maybe it wasn't all, his natural talent. I mean, but that fight took place in Las Vegas, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission saying that those hands were wrapped properly. But still, you have to question. I mean, everything's going to come into question there. His legacy, is it tarnished? In my opinion, yes. I would definitely say that. I mean, he's going to need a miracle to come back. If I'm Margarito, because there's still the option of him going into Mexico and fighting, he's going to be beloved there, and Mexico always, overturns really state's sanctioning body decision. So he could fight there, but if I'm him, I wouldn't. I'd wait out the decision. I mean, you're going to get to face the wrath of the California State Athletic Commission, even more so, and it's just, I mean, I don't know. I understand you got to make a living and all, and you probably would fight there, but, I mean, that's just a huge blow. I mean, you're going to look bad for, the people you represent. I mean, the Mexican community is just so huge and all. I mean, they respect, the warrior fighters like Chavez, etc. So, I mean, that just doesn't make you look good. And, I mean, I'm a Margarito fan and all, but still, I mean, that just doesn't make you look good. A few things. If you still want to send me some questions, you can, in my inbox with a Hotmail account, dirtywhiteboyquestions@hotmail.com. You can send them there. I plan on doing a soon. I don't know if, depending how I feel, it may have to wait till after No Way Out this Sunday, and the HBO boxing stuff this weekend. It's gonna probably have to wait after that, but we'll see. If I feel like pulling one out tomorrow, I don't know. Other than that, I guess still leave some feedback. I'd still like to know what you guys thought of the pay-per-views over the week between Showtime's boxing's Arce versus Darchinian, as well as the Kid Diamond fight on that card, and the UFC Fight Night 17. What do you think was the best, worst match, overall opinion on the card, as well as the TNA pay-per-view, best match, worst match, feedback. I love still knowing your feedback on that, as well as the Jericho incident, so you can leave feedback there. Yeah, so other than that, that's just it for me. Now, peace.